Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because we're diving into one of the most explosive moments in daytime television history. It all went down on the set of the Tamron Hall Show, where Hollywood icon Denzel Washington was scheduled for what was supposed to be a lighthearted chat about his latest blockbuster. The studio buzzed with excitement as fans filled the seats, cameras rolled, and Tamron Hall, the poised and sharp-witted host, welcomed the two-time Oscar winner with her signature warmth. Denzel, looking every bit the commanding presence in a tailored navy suit, flashed that megawatt smile that has captivated audiences for decades. The conversation kicked off smoothly, with Tamron gushing over his timeless roles in films like Training Day and Glory, and Denzel humbly deflecting praise while sharing anecdotes from his illustrious career. Laughter echoed through the studio as he recounted a hilarious behind-the-scenes mishap from the set of his new action thriller, Highest to Lowest, where a stunt gone wrong left the entire crew in stitches. Viewers at home were glued to their screens, sipping coffee and enjoying the rare glimpse into the life of a legend who rarely does talk shows. Tamron, ever the pro, steered the discussion toward his personal life, asking about his family and his passion for mentoring young actors in Hollywood. Denzel opened up about his daughter Olivia's rising star and how fatherhood keeps him grounded amid the chaos of Tinseltown. The energy was electric, the applause genuine, and for a fleeting moment, it felt like the perfect blend of star power and heartfelt connection. But as the minutes ticked by, subtle cracks began to appear in this polished facade, hints of tension simmering just beneath the surface. Tamron shifted gears, her eyes sparkling with that journalistic curiosity, probing deeper into topics she knew would spark intrigue. Denzel, always the master of his narrative, responded with measured charm, but those in the know could sense the air thickening. Little did anyone suspect that this routine interview was about to erupt into a firestorm that would dominate headlines, social media feeds, and water cooler chats for weeks to come. The stage was set, the players in position, and the fuse lit. Welcome to the unraveling of a TV titan clash that no one saw coming. As the interview progressed, Tamron Hall leaned into her reputation as a no-holds-barred interviewer, deciding to pivot to a subject that had been buzzing in tabloids for months: Denzel's much-talked-about feud with a rising director over creative differences on a recent project. She phrased it delicately at first: "Denzel, there's been so much chatter about that intense collaboration, care to set the record straight?" The audience leaned in, sensing the shift from fluff to substance. Denzel paused, his jaw tightening ever so slightly, that signature intensity flickering in his eyes like a storm cloud gathering force. He responded with a polite but firm deflection: "Tamron, you know how Hollywood loves its drama. Let's focus on the art, not the noise." The crowd chuckled nervously, but Tamron, undeterred, pressed on with a follow-up that cut closer to the bone: "But isn't it true that you walked off set after a heated argument about script changes? Fans are dying to hear your side." The studio fell into a hush, the weight of her words hanging heavy. Denzel's demeanor transformed in an instant, his broad shoulders squared, his voice dropping to that gravelly timbre that commands silence in any room. "With all due respect, Tamron, this isn't the forum for dredging up old battles. I've built my legacy on truth in storytelling, not gossip rags." The tension crackled like static electricity, viewers at home exchanging wide-eyed glances with their screens. Tamron, sensing the edge, tried to lighten the mood with a quip about Hollywood's love for reboots, but Denzel's retort landed like a thunderclap: "Reboots? This feels like one right here, recycling rumors instead of fresh conversation." Gasps rippled through the audience as the host's smile faltered for the first time, her cheeks flushing under the hot lights. Staffers off-camera shifted uncomfortably, whispering into headsets, while the director prayed for a commercial break. What started as a spark had ignited into a blaze, exposing the raw underbelly of celebrity interviews where boundaries blur and egos collide. Denzel's no-nonsense ethos, forged in the fires of decades in the spotlight, was on full display, clashing against Tamron's relentless pursuit of the story. The exchange escalated, words flying like sparks from a flint, each syllable laced with the unspoken frustrations of two powerhouses unaccustomed to yielding ground. In that charged moment, the illusion of easy banter shattered, revealing the high-stakes game of daytime TV where one wrong question can topple empires. The altercation intensified as Tamron, refusing to back down, doubled down with a pointed reference to an anonymous source claiming Denzel had been difficult on multiple sets, tying it to broader conversations about accountability in Hollywood post-#MeToo. "Denzel, the industry is changing, fans want transparency. How do you respond to those whispers?" Her tone was measured, but the implication stung like salt in a wound. Denzel's eyes narrowed, his fist clenching subtly on the armrest as he leaned forward, voice rising in a controlled fury that echoed off the studio walls. Whispers. That's code for hit pieces disguised as journalism. I've mentored more black actors into this business than most, pouring my soul into every role, and this is the thanks. Smearing a man's name without facts. The audience erupted in a mix of murmurs and applause, divided between loyalty to the star and intrigue over the drama. Tamron interjected, her voice steady but edged with defensiveness, "It's not smearing, it's asking for your truth to counter the narrative." But Denzel wasn't having it. He stood abruptly, towering over the coffee table strewn with promotional photos, his presence filling the frame like a scene from one of his intense dramas. "My truth. It's in the work, not in your gotcha moments." This interview was about inspiration, not interrogation. Cameras captured every micro-expression, the vein pulsing in his temple, Tamron's fingers gripping her cue cards tighter, the frozen smiles of the warm-up crew. Offstage, producers scrambled, signaling frantically for a cut to footage, but the director hesitated, transfixed by the raw theater unfolding live. Social media ignited in real time, hashtags like #Denzel vs Tamron trending within minutes as clips leaked from audience phones. Denzel's frustration boiled over into a passionate soliloquy on the toll of fame, how it twists legacies into clickbait, his words a masterclass in eloquence amid anger. Tamron, a veteran of tough spots from her MSNBC days, fired back with a calm rebuttal about the public's right to know, but it only fueled the fire. The exchange devolved into overlapping voices, accusations of sensationalism clashing against claims of disrespect, the studio transforming from a cozy chat space into a coliseum of clashing titans. Viewers witnessed unfiltered authenticity, a rare peek behind the velvet curtain where icons aren't infallible gods but flesh and blood warriors guarding their narratives. As the clock ticked mercilessly toward the segment's end, the heat reached a fever pitch, setting the stage for an unthinkable escalation that would forever alter the trajectory of both careers. In the eye of the storm, Denzel's temper, usually leashed with iron discipline, snapped like a taut wire under pressure. He gestured emphatically, his hand sweeping across the table and accidentally knocking over a vase of fresh lilies, water spilling in a symbolic flood across the polished surface. The crash reverberated like a gunshot, silencing the room as petals scattered like confetti from a failed party. Tamron recoiled slightly, her eyes widening in shock, while Denzel froze, regret flashing across his features before hardening into resolve. "See, this is what happens when you push too far. Everything spills over," he declared, his voice a rumble of thunder. The audience held its collective breath, some cheering in solidarity, others whispering in horror at the unraveling decorum. Tamron, ever resilient, called for a quick commercial, but the damage was done. The live feed captured it all, beaming chaos into living rooms nationwide. Backstage whispers turned to shouts as producers huddled, debating whether to salvage the segment or pull the plug entirely. Denzel, pacing now like a caged lion, demanded his microphone be removed, muttering about ambush tactics under his breath. Tamron, composed on the surface but seething beneath, signaled her team to roll pre-taped promos, buying precious time to regroup. When the show resumed, the frost was palpable, Denzel's responses clipped, Tamron's questions laced with ice. He addressed the elephant in the room head-on. "Folks at home, this isn't me raging, it's me refusing to be a prop in someone else's narrative." The crowd responded with a smattering of support, but the vibe had soured, the joy evaporated like morning dew under harsh lights. Clips of the vase incident went viral instantaneously, memes exploding across platforms with captions ranging from "Denzel spilling tea," literally, to serious debates on interviewer ethics. Insiders later revealed Tamron had prepped the tough questions with network approval, aiming for ratings gold, but underestimated the depth of Denzel's boundaries. He, in turn, viewed it as a betrayal of the trust implied in such invitations. The remainder of the segment limped along, touching on safer topics like his fitness routine and favorite co-stars, but the undercurrent of animosity was undeniable. As applause trickled at the close, Denzel's exit was swift. No hugs, no pleasantries, just a nod and a stride toward the wings that screened finality. The studio lights dimmed on a scene forever etched in infamy, a testament to how fragile the line is between engaging TV and outright confrontation. The fallout from the altercation hit like a seismic wave, rippling through entertainment news cycles with the force of a Category 5 hurricane. Within hours, TMZ broke the story with grainy audience footage, headlines screaming, "Denzel explodes on Tamron Hall, vase smash shocker." By evening, every major outlet from CNN to Variety had weighed in, panels dissecting the "what went wrong" with forensic zeal. Social media became a battlefield. Denzel stans rallied with hashtag Justice for Denzel, praising his stand against tabloid journalism, while Tamron's loyalists countered with hashtag Respect the Host, arguing she was just doing her job in an era demanding accountability. Celebrities chimed in. Spike Lee tweeted a cryptic, "Art over agendas," while Oprah, a mutual friend, urged grace on both sides via Instagram. Ratings for the episode skyrocketed, ironically boosting Tamron's show to its highest viewership in months, but at what cost? Network execs convened emergency meetings, issuing a bland statement about passionate discourse, while privately bracing for sponsor backlash. Denzel, retreating to his New York brownstone, released a measured Instagram post, "Conversations evolve, respect doesn't. Grateful for the support, on to the next chapter." Tamron, in a follow-up monologue the next day, defended her approach without apology. "We ask the questions that matter, even when they sting. That's real talk." Pundits speculated wildly, was it scripted drama for buzz? A genuine clash of old-school Hollywood versus new media scrutiny. Insiders leaked that Denzel's team had vetoed certain topics pre-show, but Tamron's producers pushed boundaries for edge. The vase itself became a punchline, auctioned off for charity with proceeds split between the stars' foundations. Late-night hosts had a field day. Jimmy Fallon reenacted the spill with exaggerated flair, while Trevor Noah quipped, Denzel didn't just drop truth bombs, he watered the plants with them. Public opinion splintered along generational lines, boomers siding with Denzel's gravitas, millennials applauding Tamron's boldness. Documentaries were greenlit overnight, podcasts dissected every frame, and merch popped up, t-shirts emblazoned with, "Spill the tea with Denzel." Amid the frenzy, quieter voices emerged, calling for empathy, fame's toll on mental health, the pressure on Black icons to perform perfection. The incident sparked broader dialogues on interview ethics, with calls for clearer ground rules in celebrity chats. As dust settled, both emerged scarred but stronger, their brands etched deeper into cultural lore. Reflecting on this seismic clash, it's clear the Denzel Washington-Tamron Hall showdown was more than a mere meltdown, it was a mirror to the evolving dance between celebrity sanctity and public curiosity in our hyper-connected age. Denzel, the brooding method actor who channels quiet storms, reminded us that icons have limits, their poise a hard-won armor against invasive probes. Tamron, the trailblazing journalist turned host, embodied the fearless pursuit that built empires like Oprah's, unafraid to prod where others tiptoe. Their collision wasn't just personal, it echoed industry fault lines, veteran stars guarding legacies against the relentless churn of viral moments. In the weeks that followed, reconciliation whispers surfaced. A joint charity event, perhaps, or a sequel interview laced with hindsight humor. Denzel dove back into directing his passion project, a biopic on civil rights firebrand Malcolm X, channeling the fire into art that inspires rather than incites. Tamron's show retooled segments for more collaborative vibes, inviting guests as partners, not prey, and saw sustained bumps in diverse viewership. Fans, ever forgiving, streamed Denzel's catalog anew, while Tamron's book club segments trended for their inclusive edge. Lessons abounded. For hosts, the art of reading the room beyond ratings; for stars, the power of vulnerability without surrender. This wasn't an end but a pivot, proving television thrives on tension but endures through authenticity. As we binge-watch reruns of the drama, let's celebrate two forces who dared to clash unscripted, enriching our cultural tapestry with their unyielding spirits. Hollywood moves on, scandals fade to footnotes, but moments like these, they linger, sparking debates in dorm rooms and boardrooms alike. Denzel and Tamron, battle-tested, emerge as twin pillars, reminders that true power lies not in avoidance, but in facing the fray head-on. And who knows, in a twist worthy of their talents, they might just team up for that tell-all special, turning infamy into inspiration. Until then, we'll savor the spill that watered seeds of change in the garden of daytime drama. Fade to black on a legend reborn from the ashes of one heated hour.